have you here. Yep, I'm back, sometimes.
That's why we're
And-
4 minutes late. We're 4 minutes late, Bonin is back.
I was on time, it's just the rest of the stuff. Anyways, before we get started on all the topics that Chris has for us, I'm going to pass this to Shelley Panzarella of Prosperity Lending.
Hey everyone, happy. Oh, can I go? Is it my turn?
Yes.
Am I on? Beta, I'm on. All right. Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Betamax is really working through this. So today I want to chat about 3 things. Number 1, if you missed the video yesterday, according to Tom and his nuggets, it will be check out the cross-collateralization loan, which will help us return the immobilization of our market today. But check out Gabby's mortgage moment from yesterday, which talks about cross-collateral, so that you can take advantage of a non-contingent situation with our clients today. The other thing I want to chat about is rates. Rates are making a move. If you haven't heard that, as of last week, we actually jumped up about 0.25%. And so wanted to share a couple of things that I have available. Hopefully if Beta can press my first slide, to showcase what the projections are going to be for this year as far as rates are concerned. And to know that this difference in the interest rates today is really only affecting a payment by $40. So keeping in mind that we're still at our all-time lows, and still, I was just explaining to our crew here, that we're still $500 more affordable than we were back in 2012, although it seems crazy to think that way because rates were like double the rates that they are today. And then if you can move us to our next slide, Beta. That's a great one too. So this is in regards to forbearances. Here we go. This is what Freddie Mac is projecting. So you can see the red is actually showing where we were in 2018. 4.8% and down to below 3% today, and what that projection is going to look like for us from 2021 to 2022. So just want to make sure, I know that there's a lot of noise right now as far as interest rates are concerned. Know that it really only affects our clients by about $40 today. The number one thing to prepare for this is to make sure that you're working with a lender who's going to pre-qualify in preparation of this, as well as if you have clients in there today, setting the right example for them and allowing us to prepare them for this potential increase in interest rates. Don't forget also this Thursday, Jason Mavora, who's our newest loan officer, is going to be teaching a class on home as possible. So come out, it's a lunch and learn here in the Southwest office. It's going to be starting at 11 o'clock, and make sure that you RSVP with Kim. So that is all that I have for our mortgage moment. I'm going to send it back to our crew.
Yay! Well, hello. Thank you so much, Shelley. We appreciate you and all of the mortgage updates. I know we're coming back in a hot sec. Thank you.
Before we go any further, can we give a shout out to Beta, because
Yes.
poor Beta has
Beta!
we put Beta through so much horrible stuff in the behind the scenes, and so he just goes out of his way to make this awesome. He's having a bad day this morning, and we're really taking it out
He's
on
not
him.
having a bad day. We're screwing it up for him. That's
No,
what's
the
happening.
technology is really
Vonda
been
was
working against
late.
it,
I
but
was not late.
we are 100% happy with everything he does, except for today. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
And
kidding.
he's a heck of a painter,
He
too.
does a great job, so
Oh,
thank you,
man.
Beta.
Thank you, Beta.
Well, you're a painter? What are you doing this weekend?
All right. So I stole Chris's list. I've got it, which means that I'm in charge. So we're going to talk about legislative update. Chris, what you got? Just kidding. That's also my segment. So on the legislative update, you guys, just so you're aware, the last session that we had was 2019. So remember, legislative sessions are every 2 years on odd number years. And our session, yes.
What's a legislative session?
I'm getting there. So the legislative session is where you actually have bills that are introduced that become law if they get, they pass through. And we did a video on this before.
So
I'll
did
put it
Sesame
in the
Street.
chat. Sesame Street did a video on it too. But bills are introduced, and then they are looked at by legislatures to see if it makes sense. And quite honestly, we have a lobbying team for realtors, and our lobbying team takes instruction from the realtor I guess from all of us, right? So whatever information we have in regards to those bills, we review them. So as of right now, Tom, Chris, and I sit on the legislative management team, which is with the state. And so anything that we talk about today is our own opinions and not that of the state or the legislative management team. I'm putting out that disclaimer right now so I don't get in trouble.
So you don't want to get that call.
I don't want to get that call later, yeah. So what we've done is, if you guys remember the last legislative session in 2019, we had quite a few bills that affected landlord-tenant laws. And so, surprise, surprise, or no surprise at all, they're back, right? And so we're having quite a bit of landlord-tenant issues that arise. You know, I think, and again, my opinion only, and probably theirs, but most of the stuff that we have, most of the landlord-tenant stuff that comes about is it on a whole for tenants as whether it's single family, multifamily, commercial, it doesn't matter. And so all of these laws tend to affect all tenants, right, regardless of the type of property they're in. Whereas I personally believe that single family should be pulled out of a lot of it, because when you look at some of the tenants and the examples that are given during when we testify, right? And when testifying means that we're actually going and talking to the legislators and legislative folks and saying, listen, here's what we think this bill is going to do for landlords, for tenants, for the realtor party, for home ownership rights, things like that, right? So we walk them through our individual, I guess, opinions of how the bill is going to affect us.
But also your experience, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So your opinion is based on your experience.
Well, yeah. And so we during that time we review all of the bills and give them an idea of what needs to happen, and then they push that forward depending on what happens. So 2019 we actually had a bill that we ended up killing, which was phenomenal for the landlord-tenant stuff, and then surprise, the last day there was one last little titty bit thing that came back, and it is back again. So. Which we knew was coming, right? We knew that it was going to come about again. Here's the thing, I think they trickle these different landlord-tenant issues into bills. This session, I believe they're trickling them into several bills versus one big bill like they did last session.
And a lot of times, the big thing is some legislator had something happen to them or a family member,
Yep.
and it happened in one occurrence, and so because of that, they run a bill that affects everybody. And by having somebody in our industry actually testify that this is the residual effect of what we see happening, that's why we have so many people in the group with different specialties to, kind of bring that value. And so,
Yep. So AB 141 is the bill that was introduced a couple of weeks ago. And now we're, looking at that particular bill to see how it's going to affect the industry. We've given some instruction to the lobbying team on, how to proceed or what, how we feel this bill is going to affect us. Just to give you an idea, to date, current law provides that notice for a without cause eviction, meaning no cause eviction, has to be at least 7 days for tenancies from week to week. And then it's got to be 30 days for all other periodic tenancies. So if you have a tenant that has a 6-month lease and that tenant is that lease is over, they've now become a month-to-month, essentially a holdover tenant, and they are now, you can send them a 30-day no-cause eviction. It's not necessarily an eviction; it's just a notice to say it's time for your lease. Bye-bye. It's time for your lease. Time for you to go.
And then you have another home. You just can't stay here.
Right. And then at least 5 days for a tenancy. Well, we all know that we're currently in the eviction moratorium and how that's affecting. I mean, I will tell you, I was in eviction court a couple weeks ago trying to get a tenant out, and the judges have a very hard time understanding our eviction moratorium, the actual ruling that came down from the governor's office, that directive, and how that affects with the CDC, with these tenants who are month to month, now holdover tenants who haven't paid rent, right?
So what's funny about that is we created that management committee last year that both of you guys sat on.
Yes, you did.
Good job, Chris.
Create something and get good people to carry it out. That's what I
Yeah.
say. The whole point we created that for was so that property managers could understand that the
Right.
judges need the same committee.
Correct.
Yeah, they do.
Because
They
even
have
the
a
judges that were on our group didn't understand some of the stuff that how it would affect
They do
everybody.
have a committee, essentially, right? They've got Judge Saragosa that's really been sort of spearheading that, this particular eviction moratorium directive for all of the courts. Which is, so even in court, I heard Judge Brown say, well, I spoke with Judge Zaragoza about this, and this was what we came up with last night, type of thing. So
Last night?
Well, because remember.
The night before your hearing.
Stop it. Stop yourself right now.
Sounds like a
We
committee
knew
I
Bobby
was
was coming, so they had to
All
meet.
right, in.
This sounds like we're exposing stuff. Okay,
Ooh.
so let's talk about what AB 141 will actually propose. And I don't want to make this big hoopla about property management. This is a legislative update, so we'll quickly get through that so we can get to the next topic. I've got the list. AB 141
She always has to be in
proposes-
control. I mean, have you noticed that about her?
Surprise, that's
She's
weird that
back.
you're saying that. AB 141 proposes to retain the existing periods of notice if the tenancy is continued for less than 1 year. It increases the period of notice to at least 60 days if a tenancy is continued for 1 year or more, but less than 3 years. So all of that's confusing as hell, yep. Increase the period of notice to at least 90 days if the tenancy is continued for 3 years or more, and then automatically seal eviction records regarding default on payment of rent due to COVID-19. And so you can see what the problem could be for things like this, right? I mean, if you've had a tenant that's been evicted, and I'll be honest, there are some tenants who are truly affected with COVID-19 and have lost their jobs and can't afford it and whatnot. And I understand why, the eviction might need to be sealed for them, but quite honestly, there are some people that are taking full advantage. And
Yeah.
I've got several tenants that
But more
did that.
importantly, you have a lot of people that have never been late on a payment, and they've always had, great
Correct.
credit, and they've lost their job and their entire life savings over the last year. And there's parts of that I could actually understand, because
Correct.
we did it during the foreclosure crisis way back when. We had some things we worked out there, but just blanketed across the board makes no sense.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Well, the
Brandon.
big thing is they pass laws or they write laws with good intentions.
Correct.
They just don't always look at what the consequences are gonna be on the other side.
Which is where we come in, right? Which is where the legislative team comes in. And so with this bill, I think the problem is that you have a bill that then becomes a law that floats forever, right? Until somebody changes it. So rather than doing that, it's like maybe we come up with, smaller solutions per se for our specific municipalities versus making it a full-blown across the entire state, because this is law that affects the entire state.
So a lot of people have asked me the question, and I think this is why you guys should really care about this, is that, we're a committee of realtors. And we're sitting here debating bills that our legislators are putting in place, like we have the power to just kill anything that comes together.
That's right.
And I think the whole point is that, we've spent decades, many groups before us, to build this entity that we have at Nevada Realtors, that legislators do take note when we don't approve of something. And we have made real changes where bills have
Yep.
not come together because of the actions and activities of this group of people. And you guys who sat on it, and all of you have sat on it at one point and taken part in it, it's because that we have so many that take part in making that difference. And that's all because of the RPAC
Correct.
and our investments in that.
Look at that, you don't have the list and you know what our next
Boom,
topic
boom.
is? Look at that,
You
go
wrote the
Chris.
list.
I know he did write the list. So let's talk about RPAC really quickly since we're on that topic, right? Done with the legislative update. If you have questions, you can put in the chat feature. You can ask any one of the brokers, of course.
Read the Advocate.
Read the Advocate, which comes out every Friday, by the way. It looks like this. Oh, just kidding, that's the list. It looks like this. I don't know
And
if
in
you
color.
can see it. And it's usually in color. But yeah, so
From
Read the
Nevada Realtors.
Advocate every Friday comes out. Most of what I'm going to talk about during legislative session or during this time will be from the Advocate anyway.
It comes to your email, by the way.
Yeah.
You're
And
not
if you've
getting it.
unsubscribed, you're not getting it, we'll let one of us know and we'll get you back on the mailing list.
Let Tom know.
Let
Yeah.
Tom know. Tom at signaturenv.com.
That's right.
Or you can let him know on his nuggets.
Yes.
So let's talk about RPAC really quickly. So one of the things that is important, and we talk about this a lot, RPAC, I'm gonna explain it. Put your hand
Realtor
down.
Party Action Committee. Realtor
Right.
Party Action Committee, yeah.
Realtor Party Action Committee, and I will tell you, one of the biggest proponents
I
for
can see it in
that,
his
the
eyes.
the investments that I've made have been because of your mom. Because
Me?
she
Mine
has
too.
been- because she has
Well,
been.
can I get her to make my contributions as
No,
well?
she doesn't make
Right.
my contributions,
Oh,
but she's
got
the
it.
one that explained it to me,
Got
told
it.
me why it was important. She's the one that takes my checks. I think they're going to RPAC, but,
Me
They
too.
are
It was an
getting
event,
paid.
it was an event at Fleming's and this lady wouldn't stop following me around
Right.
until I gave her
It's like,
money.
Where's your check? Where's your check? I need your check. I need your check.
Right.
Now it's
How about
so easy. I know, how about now? It's so easy that you can actually invest in RPAC through credit card. So any one of us can get you signed up like that in an iffy to invest in RPAC. You can do it slowly. Our fair share for every member is $50. I know we encourage you here at Signature not to remove that when you have your dues billing. You know what fascinates me though is there are some people who don't remove it, but they give a penny.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind. If you're gonna give something,
Really?
Yeah, they give a penny.
Like they go in and change.
Round it to
They
a
go
dollar.
and change the amount to a penny.
Because it's
you know.
easier to change the amount than to get it off your bill.
Correct. Well, no. Well, now you can just click it off, but a lot of people who have been around for a long time don't know that they can do that, so they just do a penny so they don't have to call it in.
I think that the thing for me has always been that I make my entire livelihood through real estate, right? Whether
Correct.
I work for Brandon as a broker or I'm an agent, that's where my livelihood comes from. And so I think that $50 is nothing compared to what business costs would be in any other business that you have. And I understand if you haven't sold a lot of homes this year, if you sold any homes this year, it's because the PAC was in place to allow us to be essential. And I know we've talked about this, and I don't want to beat the horse to death, but if you're a high producing agent where you've really sustained a great business, consider upping your level, because it is the only thing standing between you and the state government taking as much of your money as they can.
Yeah, and I'd go a step further. If you've ever sold a house or ever intend to sell a house, I mean, just battling back the service tax
It's huge.
Yeah.
has been able to save us way more than $50 a year. So, and that comes up all the time.
Yeah.
They're trying to get more
Sales
and
tax
more of
and
your
service.
commission. So,
Has it not come up this year? Usually it comes up.
It's in the list, but it's not. There's so many things that are detrimental ahead of it, which is saying a lot.
Really?
Yeah, property taxes are a big one. I mean, if you're sitting out there right now and you're like, oh, Nevada's great because the property tax set up, well, get ready for that to change. And we don't know that we have enough clout to keep those levels sustainable without making some changes.
Yeah.
And
So an investment in RPAC, thank you, Ellie, is an investment in you. It's an investment in our
Yeah.
business, it's an investment in our industry, so please do not remove that. In fact, talk to any one of your brokers and we'll be able to help guide you. Talk to Patty because she knows it the best. That's Patty at signaturenv.com. Sweet! PATTY@signaturenv.com, and she will get you set up. You can also call Ellie if you'd like. He has been very involved in the committee,
Yep.
the BORPAC fundraising committee, which, by the way, we missed you at yesterday. I was there. I'm not part of that committee, but I volunteered you for some stuff.
so we kind of joke about Patty getting us all involved in it.
Yeah.
She is a great advocate for it,
Yep.
and she's done a great service for our industry by getting people like us involved. So
Correct.
we do thank you, Patty.
Yep. Thank
And you
very
get
much.
pins. That's the one thing. You can't go to a realtor
Wait.
event without a pin. So
You also get other things this year, by the way.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
that you are, once you've done your fair share, they give you like mugs and like random little things that that you can
I
go
had
pick
one.
up from the association. So,
Yep.
sorry,
50,000 gets you a pin.
50,000 gets you a pin.
with 2
apparently.
stars.
Over years, but it doesn't have to happen all at one time. So there's that. I know we have a drawing today. I would like the drawing to be my name, but we can probably make it something else. What would you
How
like it
did
to be?
they get
Let's make
involved?
it Tom.
No, let's not do Tom's
Tom
Nuggets, please.
Nuggets.
Not Tom's Nuggets.
So
Is it too late or too early to talk about the drawing? It's way at the
no,
bottom of the
we
list.
can do it. So what are we giving away?
RPAC.
Yeah, we're not giving away our kids.
No. What are we giving away
A
today?
$50 gift card?
$50 gift card.
$50.
Is it to Amazon?
Send a text.
Two.
Go ahead, tell them to who.
725-527-7604. That's 725-527-7604. Operators are standing by right now to take your text.
And what we'd like you to text is the word RPAC, RPAC.
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 RPAC to 725-527-7604. We'll post that in the comments and we'll give away a $50 gift card.
Yeah,
Perfect.
to Amazon.
Perfect. All right.
Wait, where's my phone?
Next
Okay,
list.
send my-
You can't win.
And we gotta watch Tom because he tries to enter like 7 times.
No,
He doesn't realize it all just comes into one thread. So he's only entered once, but
Dang.
he keeps
We
going.
all
thought
have
I
our
was
phones
spreading
here, by
out.
the way, because Janet's not here, except for
I
you,
don't have
apparently.
mine.
So Janet, you can congratulate Todd for not bringing us. All right, next topic is the LVR forms.
Yeah. So
LVR forms have changed, you
Forms.
guys.
See, that's the good thing about last year, is I didn't have a forms committee, and the forms stayed the same.
That's not
What?
true.
They have a forms committee, and all of a sudden, we got all kinds of changes.
Tom, that's not true, because all these changes were put into effect last year. And
They
so
started-
just-
they started the
yeah,
process, right?
The conversations and stuff, but they released a bunch of them just recently. And there will be some minor tweaks to them as
Yeah.
we've rolled them out, but,
So I think the biggest one that we should talk about is smart home. I mean, the smart home addendum that came out is something that, you know I've gone to a lot of listing presentations and I didn't stop at the end when I'm filling out the data sheet and go, okay, let's talk about the tech in your house. But now I'm gonna have to, right? Now you're going to have to check those boxes and make sure that you're
So
cognizant of it.
before we do that really quickly, I do want to mention that Todd had a class last week, and if you missed that, that's actually
He's always
on
had
our,
class.
it's on our YouTube channel, and he
I'm having
went
more
over
class.
okay, so I missed that initially, I just got it.
Yes.
Yeah, light bulb
You
went
haven't
on.
been here for a while.
But
It's okay.
Todd did a class last week. If you haven't seen it, it's on our YouTube channel under videos. Please make sure, we also sent it out in the newsletter, read your newsletter. As Jenny would say, read your damn newsletter.
I'm just curious, on YouTube under videos?
Yeah. Oh, on YouTube, it's,
They're all videos.
so
I can't find
on
those, the pictures.
YouTube, you have to actually subscribe to the Signature Real Estate Group page.
Like and
And
subscribe.
like and subscribe, right? Subscribe to the Signature Real Estate Group page. Beta will put it in the chat. Sorry, Beta, I know that's one more
You're
thing
on
for
there
you to
right now
do.
watching it.
Oh, you're on there watching it, so.
So make sure you like
subscribe.
and hit the subscribe.
This is just like
Smash
exposed.
the notification button.
So let me say this.
And then go under videos, and then it's there.
One thing that
It's
I
all
really
videos.
like about the fact that they've added the smart home into both the listing agreement and into the RPA is that forces you as an agent
To address it, yeah.
to address it. You now have to talk about it. You now have to explain that to your seller, what that means. The other thing that was interesting to me is that addendum that came out, it works on both sides. It's for both the selling side, or the listing side, and also for the buy side. And the addendum the RPA actually says that the smart home addendum, if checked in the RPA, the smart home addendum will be supplied by the listing agent to the buyer's agent to determine which items are included and not. But here's what I want to tell you about that. We don't have a lot of really early adopters in LVR as agents in the valley, and so it's going to take some time before I think agents start to catch on to the fact that they need to supply to you as the buy on the buy side that addendum that shows what items the seller considers smart home stuff and what items are included. I mean, you should read the addendum. There's things on there like dishwasher,
Yeah.
smart home dishwasher, smart home. There's a toaster on there,
My
coffee
oven is a
makers.
smart-
I yell at my dishwasher all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some of
We're
the
not
things
talking
that are
about
on
Amy.
No.
there.
So I'll tell you something else I learned this last week, that some of these multi-million-dollar homes, these big homes,
They have.
actually have computer software.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's actually code written to run these houses.
Correct.
And so
Just like Iron Man.
they're actually gonna be adding that to that
Yeah, if you
too.
don't have the source code.
The source code's gonna be a
spend
big thing.
$50,000 to have it.
That was a
reprogrammed.
Terminator reference. I like that, the source. Yeah, nice job.
So I just think, like Todd said, it encourages you to have the conversation so that you can put it out there and then you're not having any surprises at the end. I think that's a great form that was created.
If the listing side will not supply to you the addendum, and you think or you know that there's smart home devices that you're asking for as part of your RPA, then you supply it to the listing side.
Yeah.
Don't just sit back and go, well, they didn't supply it, so we don't have it, right? It's on you to supply the addendum with exactly which items you're asking for in your RPA.
So the other thing, I know some of you are sitting out there, it doesn't matter, I don't have to do it, it won't apply to my properties. We've had multiple litigations that we've had to work through because of solar items that no one paid attention to, or because of
The doorbell or the
doorbells.
thermostat or,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's weird. I mean, think about the safety of your home and how you feel about it. Imagine if someone else was watching everyone coming in and out of your house without your permission, you'd be pissed. And so these are things that people will get really upset about and decide to sue over. And so you need to take this seriously for sure.
I'll give you an example. So I had a car, a Lexus a few years back, and I paid for the extra, it's not OnStar, but their service, right?
Yeah.
And it was on auto renew, and every year it'd give me a notification. So I paid for it for 2 additional years, right? But I had
a car.
and I didn't have the car, but I had the app on the phone that I could actually disable that car anywhere in the world, and I could actually limit the speed and everything else. I wasn't gonna
Sure.
do it because I didn't even have the time.
I would have.
But
you're a horrible person.
I could set off the alarm, I could do all kinds of stuff. So this moral of the story basically is people actually have a lot of control over what's in that house,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be responsible for that. So it's just address it.
Especially if you have cameras in there, like how scary is that?
I'll take this one step further too. So I just mentioned before, Beda does an amazing job with video, and he's great at it, putting them together and editing it. And there's a lot of you out there that have knowledge about specialty products like this, and what a great video series to demo different
Yes.
smart home technologies, and what a great resource to have Beda here to help do that. And so if that's something you want to add to value to your clients, I think that's a great idea, because there's stuff I don't even know about that's out there in homes.
Wait a minute.
It's,
Did we get that in writing?
We got that on.
But
Somebody write that.
it's
Yeah.
about marketing yourself.
But I do know why
right?
my car hasn't been working for the last 2 years.
I did finally cancel. Third year, I did cancel it.
We
So
have-
you paid for it for 3 years?
2.
Why?
3 years.
You didn't call and be like, hey,
Because it's like, it was just a few $100.
He didn't
You
have
just
True
think
Bill.
about it and you don't have the time to get up. Long story. But
So-
either way,
I will tell you one thing that Mike taught me, Rasmussen, what he taught me was that
Read.
at the end of every year, you cancel all of your credit cards and you get brand new ones the next year, because all of the subscriptions that you've done over the last year will then go away and you have to resubscribe. I know that sounds like a pain in the butt, but
Think of all the money it'd save,
think of
yeah.
all the money that you could save, because then you have to rethink.
It's
do
enough
I
to pay
really-
your RPAC
do I
contribution.
really-
this
Do
card,
you really need that subscription?
yeah,
Do you
this
really
card
need
I
that?
hardly use. It's tied to my Tesla and obviously my cars.
Yeah,
And so that's why I never reset that one. But that is a good
yeah.
good rule of thumb.
All right, moving on. Are we good with that? We've talked that to death, yes? Good, okay.
Whatever you say, boss.
Let's talk about the awards ceremony. We've got an award ceremony coming up.
We do, and I think the coolest thing is that we've made it accessible to everybody to be able to take part in it. And I've got a few questions about how is it going to work, how do I tune in?
So how do you tune in?
This is your
This is
part.
me.
Yeah, you get to speak now.
So I'm super excited about it. When we looked at the last event we did last year before we went into COVID was the awards night.
Yeah.
And it's always been a fun night. We've done it in the
Literally
4
the week
seasons.
before.
Yeah, we've done them in the 4 seasons. There's been after parties. There's been all kinds of memorable moments, I should say. Not some people don't remember the moments, but they've been fun nonetheless. And it's always been a joy for us to be able to recognize everybody. And so when we started thinking about this, how could we do this? And we'd seen some people that did some virtual events, and we've seen some people that just gave the awards out to their agents. But we still wanted to recognize everybody, and we wanted to do it in a way that we could still come together. And unfortunately, because of the governor mandates and stuff, we're not allowed to have everybody there and have quite the big party
Sure,
that we
yeah.
normally do. So originally we were able to have 50. He loosened that up. Now we're able to have 70, and so we've got 70 people booked to attend the event live, right? And that started with the higher producers coming down. So based on production, you got that invite. But we still wanted to make sure that we got the awards for everybody and we still had the recognition. So we're doing a hybrid where we're actually doing the virtual side of it as well. So at 8 o'clock on Friday on this YouTube channel, we will also be broadcasting the event live so that everybody gets recognized. The neat thing about it is this gives you the ability to also share our YouTube channel or the link with all your friends, family, and everyone else, and they can tune in and watch you get recognized as well. So I'm excited about it. It's not exactly what we wanted to do this year, but I think we've got the best of both worlds as much as we could.
Hey.
So
If I didn't have to get dressed up, do hair and makeup, and I could still get an award, I'm in.
It's like
Right?
your perfect dream, huh?
It is. It's
So,
perfect
so
role
next
right
year we'll do it
there.
on Zoom so we can see everything. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you can watch it from the comfort. It'll also be recorded on there, so you can always go back and watch it.
That's awesome.
And I think to keep in mind, we always want to do an event where we had everyone come. It wasn't about limiting production levels or anything else, but we also had a group that has killed it this year. I mean, they absolutely have
2020.
done fantastic, and it's not the same people. It's a whole new group of people that are in there. And so, 25 people able to bring one guest maybe, or 30 people, and then there's staff to help and tech staff and everything else. It's just impossible to have the large group we wanted to have, but they still deserve the accolades too, to have that time to go up on stage and say they got it. So we tried to do the best we could, and we hope no one takes it personal. We're going to recognize everybody for their production this year. We have a lot of things planned for that. So
Yeah, we didn't want to exclude anybody. We really didn't, but we just had to figure out a way to do it as fair as possible.
Yeah, and let me
I
just
don't
say
think
this.
anybody's excluded though. They haven't.
No,
I think more
every-
people have the
everyone will
opportunity
get recognized.
of being present. Sorry,
Yeah,
Tom.
and no, I just want to say right now that if I mispronounce your name, I apologize right now. I'm sure I'll probably do it because we start at 6, which means we get there at 3. So I can apologize right now, but I'll probably have a little bit of a pediment in my speech.
How do you say my name?
Get this.
Hola!
Get this. Please don't show up any earlier than 6 because we don't have the room
No.
at 3 o'clock.
But there's a bar next door.
Tom's tailgating, you didn't know?
Tom's got a barbecue.
Here's another one of Tom's Nuggets. There's a bar right next door.
Tom's gonna be working till 5:30 that day.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got appointments the whole time. All right, what's next on
All
the list?
right, next on the list, talking with the listing agent.
Oh, yeah, so that was a great topic.
Rental leads, good or bad? Okay, that's what it was, right? Sorry. Did I
Those
blow,
are
did I blow your,
That was
Those
a
are two
subsection
things.
of the first topic.
Oh,
See,
God.
that's-
I blew the topic. All right, hold
So-
on. Talking with the listing agent.
So we had a comment, Roya, who put it on there, made a great topic on her Agents of Facebook page about the fact that she received multiple offers on the listing and none of the agents
Called
were
her.
submitting the offers, called her to actually say, what's important to your seller, what can we do to get our offer accepted? And her point was valid that, all they had to do was pick up the phone and ask me, and I would have helped them work to get their offer accepted, because that's really the goal of the listing agent, right?
Right.
To sell the property. And so you've got all these buyer's agents out there, and I've gotten a few calls lately from agents saying, hey Chris, I'm writing on this property, what do you think I should do to get my offer accepted? I'm not the person that you should be calling to ask what to do. I'm happy to give you tips and tricks, or nuggets, to help you get your offer
Stop saying
accepted.
nuggets.
But I think the whole point is call the listing agent, and I know what you're thinking, they won't answer their phone, we'll text them. Because if you're like my wife, I call you, you don't answer, but I text you, you answer right away. And so the whole point is say what is important to your seller that we should put in the offer, and you find out all types of things.
You'd be amazed how many people do actually answer your phone, their phone. So, and the other thing that I would say is this: not only should, as a buyer's agent, should you call the listing agent. When you're the listing agent and you're going through a multitude of offers, I think you should pick up the phone and call some of these buyer's agents, especially the stronger offers, to see if there's room to get them to adjust or whatever, so that this offer that is above appraised value with no appraisal contingency, but is a few $1,000s less than another one, maybe you have some room there to get that to where it needs to be. But
great.
having the conversation both ways, I think, is a good thing.
Great point.
I'll go even one step further.
Oh,
You know you have the right to present your offer to the sellers
In person.
in person. So maybe think about that. I know it's really weird, but we used to do that back in the day.
You know what's cool though is now you could actually
Zoom.
do it
Zoom.
through
Zoom.
Zoom
Yeah.
and actually have that presentation and not have to.
Everyone should feel comfortable, it's easy to schedule in, and it makes sense, yeah. You can even Zoom with the listing agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you why my offer is the way it is. When you have a great lender, they pick up the phone and they let the other agent know. I mean, those things are all huge. And we can't write love letters. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We can't write love letters
But
to
you
the
sure
seller,
can't
but
talk love.
you can write love letters to the listing agent. You can definitely say, I'm gonna be a great agent, I answer my phone, I'm gonna be attentive. I've had other
And here's a picture
successful
of me.
agents I've worked with, and here's a picture of me and my kids that I need this commission for.
I don't think you could take it that far.
Ah, come on.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
And you did bring a good point up, is that your lender can be a real good resource. I can't tell you how many times Shelley's called the other side, the listing side, and, had a conversation and gotten back to me like, hey, they're really looking for this, or they're really, they need extra time, and that's been great, because they're your advocates, right? They want to get that offer accepted too.
Get your lender on the Zoom call with you
Yeah.
and present the offer.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you're writing your offer now, it's important now more than ever to make sure it's a clean offer. And what does clean offer mean? It means that all of the boxes are filled in. It means that I've taken as much off of the seller as I can and explained to the buyer why they should maybe do this as an incentive. And then if you do that, like I saw a couple offers last week where the transfer tax was actually paid for by the buyer, but the agent didn't tell anybody, right? They just checked the box and sent the offer off. And I saw the initial email, it just said, see my offer on your property, and that was it. I would have gone into explanation, because they don't read things, and say, not only did I send you a great offer that has everything on our side, but we've also included the transfer tax, which is a massive cost to the seller. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
All right.
The other topic was
Rental
rental
leads.
leads.
Rental
Right.
Whew.
That was the
Gold
subtopic.
mine.
The subtopic.
Gold mine.
So yeah, Linda, you're absolutely right. The phone works in both directions. That's true. Rental leads. So we're in a hot rental market right now. When people can't buy, they're forced into renting. And so a couple of things I think will come of this. Number one is great quality buyers are now renting homes. And we were talking about rental leads a while back, and a lot of people shrugged them off because you know, it's just a tenant, I don't make a lot of money, the leads don't convert very well, and I've heard that, and sometimes it's been true, but I've gotten some great clients from rental leads, and it only works as hard as you do. And so I think that now may be the time to start taking some notice of them, and I think to your point earlier, we were talking about, you know, what you were going to do with that lead. You can charge what you're worth. No one ever said I had to work for a co-op that's in the MLS. I could work for the fee that I charge, right? I used to charge $1,000 to do a rental.
Sorry, I'm doing math. So it's not actually a ton of money, but what happened was I had a client that I was talking to who was from a different market, who was buying here, and she had said that she did over 150 to 200 rental leads in her first year of business.
That's a lot.
And she said she literally lived off of those for buyers over the next 2 to 5 years.
Sure.
She said that they just, you know, everybody got converted. She stayed in touch with them. She, you know, helped them become finance ready so that they could actually purchase in the next 2 to 5 years. And so that's how I mean, that's a lot of clients. 150 plus is a lot of clients.
Be crappy if you had a bad system, right?
Right.
You have to
Well,
have a pretty
that's-
dialed in system.
That's my point next, is when you're working with a rental lead, you need to have some type of consultation with them to see, you know, are they lifelong renters, or are they, you know, back in the day, 2000, I don't remember what year, 6, and 7,
So long ago.
He doesn't remember.
when
that.
the market started to shift from a traditional market to a short sale or foreclosure market, I had to make a decision as an agent if I was gonna go after foreclosures and be an REO agent, or was I gonna work with short sales. And one of the reasons I went with short sales was one of my coaches said, well, who are you more likely to do business with again in the future? And that really kind of hit home for me, because I was brand new to the business. I only been in the business for a year at that point. And I was like, well, obviously short sale people, because they're used to owning homes, right? So yeah, if you're working with a renter that's used to owning a home, then that's an easy conversion, right?
Yeah.
So it's about having a consultation with them or a conversation with them about what are your future plans. Happy to help you find a rental. Let's get all that done. But if you aren't on purpose and focused on having that conversation about what their future looks like, this young lady that you used the example, her focus was to convert them in the future, and so
Correct.
she had those conversations. She got them back into credit repair or credit improvement type of systems, and so it's a part of your business that there needs to be a system for. And if you don't have a good system, which I think entails a CRM, to stay in touch with these people systematically, it could be just a cheap
You're
paycheck.
missing out.
But it can be, as
Yep.
Chris has said, it can really be a big part of your business. And I know it worked out for me. I did a lot of business with repeat short sale people who were like, okay, we've waited our 18 months or 3 years as it originally started, and we're ready to go buy.
And I think that the system is the whole piece of it, that you can establish a rate for the service you're gonna provide that makes sense for you financially. You can create a follow-up system that adds value to your database, and that's really what I got from rental leads. I got a new quality person that if I worked, they have a massive sphere. Like, maybe they never bought anything, but their brother, their mother, their
Yeah,
friends,
the 10 people
Yeah.
around them.
Correct.
they were buyers. And I think that, and they were the people most likely to give me whatever I wanted, because no one pays attention to them. They would literally go out of their way to refer because I went out of my way to help them.
Yep.
And that's what I was.
And think of it this way,
All right, we're talking about that now.
if you're gonna put someone in your CRM, might as well get a paycheck putting them in your CRM by giving them a rental lead.
Tom, that's a nugget!
Stop saying, can you hashtag
Then-
stop saying nuggets, please, for me?
You know, but seriously.
There's
because
gold in the things he says.
You know, think about it. You're getting paid to put someone's name into a CRM and contact them for the next year.
Yeah,
What do you do?
yep.
Or 5 years,
Yep.
whatever it takes.
All
Because
right.
if they're in your CRM and you have a CRM, you can contact them forever
Stop
and
looking at
never
the
do
list.
anything. So,
It's my list now.
as you know, I like.
Let's move on to coaching, because we
Well,
won't
I
have
want
much
to,
time.
real quick, signatureschoolnv.com. Don't forget to go on there because we're constantly teaching classes, CE classes. We've got post licensing. Don't forget, if you have taken a class with Signature School, that you do some form of review or rating of our school.
That's not what that's about, but
I
I
don't
like that
know,
you brought it up.
but
Hey, so I
done,
will
done.
say this. Someone asked on our Facebook page about getting school reviews, and I think that everyone may have missed the RPR series, where RPR will give you actual school reviews for any
Oh.
school in the nation, and it's reviews from the students,
Totally
from the
not what it
teachers.
says on the list.
It says schools, ratings, and reviews. That's
Correct.
Yeah. And so if you simply go into RPR, there's a report on there. It says schools, and you'll be able to print all that out. And it's a third party giving the info to your client. And I think they actually have a star rating. It's kind of cool.
Awesome. All right, moving on to coaching. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So
Do you want your list back? We're done.
yeah, thanks.
Just-
You're so helpful. So on my list here, it says, coaching. We talked many times that we have a great program. All of us up here have been coached or are coaches. And a lot of people have asked, why would I get into coaching? And so I've got a few questions here that we'll answer, and anyone can take the answer and give it. So question number one.
First,
He
let me
feels
say.
so complete right now. You just
Yeah,
look
he
so
has-
happy.
he has his list.
He's back in charge.
So let me just say, this is another post on Facebook, by the way, on our Facebook company, our
Agents of
Agents of
Signature. Yep.
And it was somebody that was trying to find out who the coaches were and
Yep.
which one she thought she might be better with. And so we realized at that point that, maybe we should spend some time and kind of talk about what that coaching looks like so that everybody understands it and see if they're interested or if it would help them grow their business. So shout out to Monica for that.
Absolutely. And so, first off, coaching is for the betterment of you and your business. So, of course, what should I expect from coaching as an individual?
Help.
Help.
A third party vision of what is possible opposed to your very limited view of what you think is possible.
And I think it needs to be clarified that coaching is more about us helping with business aspects, right? Not necessarily training you or even your personal life or whatever. We're not training you on forms, right? That's not what coaching is about. Coaching is about making you better, right? In any aspect of your life.
If you need help with forms, you're probably not at the coaching level yet. You're probably in more of a mentorship type thing, and then we graduate
Correct.
through that. But to me, what you should expect from that is help with implementation. Like, you can get information everywhere. It's all over YouTube. We're going to give you advice all day long.
Thursdays
But
with
it's
Tom.
Accountability.
But it's actually the
Not saying
implementation, and it comes through accountability, it comes with a plan, it has somebody that's working with you on your business rather than in your business all the time.
Yeah.
It's a call every week where you spend 30 minutes with us and we work on your business and what the direction is for the next week to move you closer to your end goal. And for me, I've always thrived in a coaching environment.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very structured person, but I have a tough time putting the structure together. So if somebody says, this is the plan, you do this, 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 and you're gonna get this, I do that, and I get that. And I always tell them, if I do what you tell me, and it doesn't work, we'll have a different conversation. But it's amazing
How it
that
does,
if you
yeah.
just do what you're supposed to do consistently, and you have somebody that walks you through that, you get the results. So coaching has made a huge impact in my life, and I can honestly say that I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have coaches. And it's not about the money. Initially it can look like, okay, it's gonna cost a lot of money to have a coach, but in the end, it's really, where do you get to, and how do they help you get there? And then, not all coaches are created equal, so I get the fact they're saying, well, I wanna know which coach fits better for me. I'm gonna tell you, you can sit down with any one of us, have a conversation, and we're gonna be honest with you. If I'm not the coach for you, I'm gonna probably say it's gonna be Todd or whoever it is, and we'll go through that process. So you don't have to
I
come.
do get all of his leftovers. That's very true.
That's not true.
Well, no, it's
Oh.
it's not
But,
about,
but
it's not
you
about
don't have to,
leftovers.
you don't have to sit and interview every single one of us or make that thing. Have a conversation with one.
But you
and we'll
can if
direct you
that's
from
something
there.
that you wanna
Yeah.
do, right? I mean, we're not saying that you can't.
But, yeah, but the thing is what I would say is don't overanalyze it and paralyze yourself
Right.
with not making a decision. Cause I find the ones that feel like they gotta interview everybody, never make a decision and never pick a coach.
Yeah,
And so just pick the one you think, have the conversation. If it's gonna work,
If
they'll
it's
tell
too
you.
comfortable, it won't work out well for either party, because that's another
And
concern.
that's
Well,
usually
yeah.
when I refer something off to somebody else. If I'm talking with somebody on a regular basis and I don't feel like, and they want high accountability and I don't feel like I can give that to them, then I'm not gonna take them on as a coaching client. I'm gonna refer them to Alex. Because Alex is gonna,
Oh, God.
give me 50 push-ups. But it really comes down to what your needs are, and we've got a coach that's right for you.
Yeah, there's
Right?
there's a lot of personality.
I'm not doing any
types. There's
push-ups.
a lot of different effects, right?
Yeah.
The way we all do things differently, and so yeah, there's somebody that's gonna fit well. I have a relationship with an agent that's in our company, and I coached her years ago. And
Yeah.
she joined the company, she came to me, she said, I wanna start up coaching again, and I said, look, based on our relationship, we're too good of friends now, I don't think it's gonna work for you, it's not gonna work for me, cause I don't know that I can be tough enough on you. And so she's killing it now because she has a different coach than me, and I think that's because we were smart enough to realize that it wasn't gonna work because it wasn't uncomfortable enough, right?
Yeah.
And hey, coaching is uncomfortable.
It is.
Like, our job is to keep you tasked, on focus, where you should be doing each week.
My question is what to expect from the coach.
Oh, sorry.
Not to be friends.
Go ahead, ask that
He's
question.
so
What-
excited.
what should I
about
expect from the
this.
coach?
You should expect the coach to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think coaching is a lot about accountability. Here's what I think you get from coaching that a lot of people don't understand, is that you get a perspective from somebody who might have been in the business longer, that might know a few things that you don't know about. And when they open your eyes up to some of these new things or these ways that you do stuff, it's a game changer. I mean, one little twist of your business because there's one thing that you didn't really understand. For me, back in the day, it was my CRM. Like, I made money in this business for a long time, but man, if I'd had a CRM 15 years ago instead of only 5 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
And not only having it, but having help implementing it and actually
Yeah.
using it in your
Someone
business.
teaching me how to
Because
use it.
because we've all bought CRMs and
Yeah.
never used
And
it.
never
We
used
have a
it.
free CRM available
Right.
to us and
I'm not using that one either.
Right.
But
The
it's that one
association
nugget,
gives
it's
us
that one
those.
So-
nugget that changes the
But
whole
one more
course.
thing on that, you should expect your coach to show up ready for the call,
Yes.
right? And so to lead into your next one,
Yeah, my next question is what does the coach expect from you? And I think that's a big
for
piece.
you to show up ready for the call.
Yeah.
And what I mean by both of those is that you should put some thought into the coaching call prior to coming in. What do you need, right? Because if you just pick up the phone last minute, jump on the call, it's not gonna be there. And so the coach prepares for it and you prepare for it and you set that time and you don't do it driving in your car, you don't do
Oh,
it
yeah.
in the minute. You do it when you can be focused on the conversation and really working on your business. It's a valuable time for you to work on your business and you should be present.
I think one of the things we did different with our coaching program versus many of the ones that are out there is we vested the coach along with the client. And so every coach that takes on an agent to coach doesn't get paid unless that agent gets paid. And so that's different than anything out there, in some ways good, in some ways bad, but that means I'm gonna have an even higher level of accountability, and so will all the coaches, that you are present for those calls because it's my time that I'm providing. And I think the other thing is, all of us up here want you to be successful because we care about your success. It's not only brokers, but as people here at Signature, it's a family. And so we kind of give up some of that for that benefit, but this is a business that we've provided to help you be successful, and letting you do nothing is not leading you to success. And so being present is 80% of success in real estate.
Showing up.
Showing
baby.
up.
And show up every week, because if you don't show up every week, it's hard to build the continuity of the accountability and the plan to move
It's
forward.
hard to get momentum.
Well, yeah, setting a plan and not following it up doesn't
So-
mean you're good.
Kind
So
of like
look-
what Burnell actually talked about a couple weeks back when
Yeah.
he did his, let's look at your business plan,
Yeah.
and does it make sense and does it not? Is it, where are you at? Is it crap?
Create
Do you
it,
need
stuff
to-
it in a drawer.
Right,
Great idea,
like,
right?
Right, so ideally, your coach will help you get through that business plan and reach the goals that you were hoping to accomplish by the end of the year. The other thing I was gonna say, and I think Monica pointed this out in the chat too, she said eventually be coached by all. And so, one of the things that I think is great, and I don't know if that's a question because I didn't read that far, but one of the things that I think is great on the coaching is that regardless of what coach you pick, you have an opportunity to actually hear from every one of us through some form of coaching call
Yep.
on, during the week. And so one of us, including Alex and whoever else is a coach, will, take a stab at talking to all of you, once
Yeah,
every so
so
often.
you have a 30-minute call with your coach that's one-on-one to work on your business, and then we do a group call with all the coaching clients where one of the coaches actually runs a training or something like that.
Correct.
To help you with skills and different things in the industry. We've talked about listing presentations, buyer presentations, objection handling, mindset. We've talked about a lot of different things on those calls.
The
CRM.
power of
CRMs,
ones,
and
yeah.
that's an hour
Listing
call.
brands.
So you get an hour and a half with
Every week.
So, yeah,
It's
and
huge.
then a direct line to your coach as well, so.
So the question I have on here is, when is the right time to get a coach? And I think that you said something
Same
important.
time that it's perfect to plant a tree. 10 years ago, and the next best time is today.
Well,
That's a coaching nugget.
We need to stop seeing nuggets.
I honestly think,
I think she exposed the truth.
I honestly, with our program, one-on-one coaching, I think you should be making, if you're making 75 to 100,000 now, and you wanna go to the next level, you obviously need coaching. If you haven't done any business at all, and you're wanting to go to 100 grand, it's not one-on-one coaching. We need to put you in a pod where you can learn from other people and actually start to implement some systems and put that stuff in to move you up to an individual coach.
And mentorship.
And mentorship, yeah. So I think there's stages, but again, any one of us can sit down and go through that process with you and lay out some options for you that may work for you. So I just encourage you to have a conversation.
I think the other thing is with coaching, I've always had a coach at some point, either the person I worked with that was a mentor, or someone I was mentoring, or an individual that I paid to coach me, but it didn't stop when I hit a certain level, because there's always the next level in our business. I mean, if you're making 100,000, there's no reason you can't make 500,000. If you're making 500, there are people in our business right now this year that made $9 million in GCI, not volume, GCI.
Gross commission.
Gross commission income. And there's others that, I think the number one agent in America made $11 million, and he made it in leasing in Chicago, in doing leases. It's absolutely amazing. And so
Commercial leases.
no, residential leases
Stop
in
your
Chicago.
mouth right now.
Well, when a rent's $12,000-$15,000
Oh.
a month,
And they get
Okay.
more than $300.
Got it.
Just
Okay.
saying.
Okay, not to say that that's all
Renters
you charge
work.
you get, right?
So let me say, when we say that each of us are different, let me say, I mean, I know that most of us do 30-minute phone calls.
Yeah.
All of my coaching is face-to-face. Like, if you sign up for with me to coach, you're gonna come into my office and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna spend 30 to 45 minutes face-to-face, because I don't feel like I connect well enough over a phone call or through Zoom. So for me personally, it's face-to-face. And so,
I'm Zoom to Zoom.
yeah, and I mean, you love Zoom, right? You
I
do
do.
a lot of coaching calls over Zoom.
And I use Zoom because I record every single one of them, and I upload them into a folder so you have access to them continually, and I can go back and review them prior to our call, so I'm on point. That's why I use it, but I get it. There is also value being face-to-face.
Yeah.
And so if that's what you want, again, differences.
And I have some agents that don't Zoom, so I do end up face-to-face, unzoomed.
Belly to belly.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, whatever's gonna work best for your client,
Yeah.
is what you're gonna use.
Yeah, I still do some phone calls. I mean, I do have some that are like, I
Got it.
can't make it in because
Sure.
we do a Zoom kind of thing.
So I two more questions I have on coaching, because we only have 5 minutes left, and I think this is one that you already hit on a little bit, is how do I pick the right coach for me? And I think that you made the point of accountability, someone that you feel is going to hold you accountable, and so there should be a level of, what is that level? I mean, what
Is that
makes,
the shake the baby?
shake the baby, no,
Well,
don't shake the baby.
Don't shake the baby.
I had an agent pick me one time because they went to the owner of the company and said, who should I pick as my coach? I'm trying to find a coach. And they said, well, who in the company are you the most afraid of? And she picked me, which was
What?
probably valid. I mean,
You're just so
she
nasty.
did everything that I asked her to do because she was afraid of the concept, the
Well, I win
conversation.
every time.
Gorilla bear, that's really a teddy
So
bear.
it really is about who's the person that's really gonna hold you accountable, and you're gonna actually listen to what they say and do what they say.
Not the one that makes you the most comfortable.
Yeah, cause you
Yeah.
don't wanna have the conversation later about what you didn't do.
Here's another
Right?
nugget. Your coach needs to be that person in the mirror that you don't wanna hear back from, right? The coach is the guy that's gonna tell you the things.
Or gal.
Or gal, that just, you need to hear it, but don't wanna hear it.
Not only that, I think that a coach is someone who's tried what you're doing
Been there,
and
done
won
that.
and failed at it, because I learned more from my failures at doing something
Right.
than from my successes, right? Because success happens, that's my next question on here, and sometimes you don't acknowledge it like you should, but when failure happens, everyone acknowledges it, right? And so the last question I have on coaching is what does success look like with a coach? And I think the biggest thing is that we've mapped out a plan of activities that the coach didn't create, but you as the agent created of what you want your business to look like. We're kind of like the roadmap to get there, but you're deciding on the destination, right? And I think the whole point is success is how well did you achieve the goals that you set out. And a lot of times, you know, I've had a coach that I didn't connect with, and personality-wise, we didn't agree, or we did, and I just didn't see value in it, right? And so I moved to another coach. And I think the one thing we did in this system that's really cool is if sometimes at first it doesn't work, we have other coaches. And so you do have a lot of flexibility in our program to make it work for you.
Cool, so let's give away a gift card.
Okay, to where? Amazon?
Amazon,
$50 gift card, Felicia Hurley.
Nice,
Nice,
congratulations.
congratulations.
I'll take that with me, she's in my office. She'll-
Oh, will you now? Well, no, I think you do it right through Giftly,
Yeah.
right?
She'll
Yeah.
just send it, I just.
Perfect.
I was just joking.
So as always, if you guys are looking for more information on coaching, please reach out to us. We will happily do that to any of the coaches up here and provide you with the information. And I like to do a little sit down and conversation and find out what you'd like to achieve from it. And I know that everyone up here would do the same thing.
Can I just say that there's no upfront fee?
Yes.
Like a lot of people don't get into coaching because they gotta write that big check right up front, and there's no upfront fee. It's, as Chris explained, we only make money if you make money, and so we're vested in your success. So, I mean, I think the excuse me, the system that's been put together, there's really no excuse not to explore it. You really should explore it, no matter what your production level is, because all it can do is help.
Yep.
I don't know that it could really hurt.
Awesome.
That's it? Do I
That's
get to
it?
wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
All right, you guys.
Bring us home.
Thanks so much for
When's Real Estate Exposed?
on Fridays at 1:30.
Fridays
Thank
at
you.
1:30?
Right before the weekender.
Thursdays with Tom, don't forget those.
Yeah, Wednesday, Broker Insights.
All right,
Monday,
all right.
Mortgage
I'll wrap it
Romance.
up. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Bye.